All right, folks, welcome back to yet another episode of Fresh Juice, an indie game podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tommy Fresh, and joined as always, it is
Matt T. Juice. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fresh Juice podcast. It's good to have you here. Hope you're staying warm this time of year, and I'm going to keep rhyming just to make that clear. So
they landed it. Holy. What's going on, everybody? We got a nice little episode. We played a bunch of like demos and playtests this week, so we're going to be talking about those. Kind of like stuff that hopefully will kind of be good when they come out. Obviously, playtests are a great opportunity for devs to get feedback and also not have it really affect like the idea of what the game, hopefully, I guess, what the game is going to be. So we'll be talking about some of those, a little bit of news, some notable releases, and then we're going to just send it on home. But first, what's going on? How's your week been, my friend?
Yeah, it's been an eventful week at the Matty Juice, the Juice household. Just work stuff. Work's been really busy, but also we started transitioning our daughter to the crib. So, go from the bassinet to the crib. And we had like one of them smart bassinet things that'll like rock her when she's like crying and all that stuff. One of our buddies or one of my wife's friends lended it to us. So that was great. So it was very nerve wracking to be like, all right, I guess she's going in like a normal bed now. And she's gonna hopefully not freak out. So the first 2 nights, put her down in there. She slept for like 10 hours and it was great. The third night, the second we put her down, she starts screaming. Like apparently it's a thing. We're gonna be headed into the fifth night tonight. So nights 3 and 4, it's like a thing. Well, I guess it could be night 5. I don't know how long this will last, but they like protest that they're in a crib now. They're like upset. They're like, this is new. I'm upset. So literally we have to the method we're doing, which like I didn't think was gonna work, is that like last night she's screaming and we're just downstairs and you have to just like you set a timer for 3 minutes. If she's still upset at the end of 3 minutes, you go in there for a minute and you just kind of like shush her. You say it's gonna be okay, and then you leave. And then if she starts screaming again, you do 5 minutes and then 7 minutes, and you kind of just keep spacing them out. And then you just keep going in for like 60 seconds and then you leave. So I was like, this isn't going to work, because every time we would leave, she would see us leave and she'd start screaming. And I was just like, and you have to leave, apparently. That's like the thing. And then we're at like, I don't know, we're waiting for 10 minutes. We're kind of at that interval and she's screaming and screaming. And all of a sudden she just stops. She starts looking around and she fell asleep for like 9.5 hours.
Yes.
I was like, that worked? Like, that's crazy to me. And yeah, it's just wild that like, it's like she's in a comfier bed now, like she got more space and she's protesting it. So yeah, that it's just been a little, the nights have been a little like stressful, just because like, you just have to, I'm having a conversation with like, Lady Juice last night downstairs, and it just in the background you just hear just like someone's being murdered upstairs. And yeah, it's just it's an adjustment right now, but I'm glad it worked last night. Hopefully it keeps on working. But that's kind of the big change here in the Juice household. And then obviously just normal stuff. Had a little time to make some videos, which was good. Hopefully I get a little bit more time this week as well. But always good to, I'm trying to do video wise right now is like cut my costs for stuff. Like I pay for like one thing that helps turn stuff into like TikTok type videos. I'm trying to figure out how can I just do that for free. So I downloaded like DaVinci Resolve. I'm like learning all this stuff. I'm trying to like get in a good rhythm of like, all right, I don't need a service to like make captions on my video. I can just try to do that myself. So that's been an adjustment here, and I'm hoping that I can also start doing that for fresh juice and getting a nice rhythm where like, I mean, we did like the juiciest take last week, right? Like our hot
Yes.
takes. So
We
that
got to
could
do
be
that again this week.
we got to do it. I have one. I have one
All
ready
right.
to go.
All right.
So that could be something we post as well. But yeah, so I'm just working on that sort of stuff too outside of the baby stuff. But yeah, that's what's been going on with me. What about you, Tommy? How's everything going on your side of the pond?
It's a big pond. I had a busy week, work, a lot of work, and then, it's like from for my job from like October 1st until about Valentine's Day is actually my busiest time, right? So this upcoming week, I have my biggest event of the year, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been a lot, and you're just like, I just need to get through. And it's because it's been like, release after release after release, and finally we just had our last release for like at least 2 months, I think, maybe a month and a half, which is nice. So I don't really have to worry about it. I can just kind of go out and do my job like regular, just like this is normal. So looking forward to that. I did a Flesh and Blood tournament yesterday. We're recording this on Sunday, and it was my one tournament I had that I could try to qualify for nationals, and it was arguably the worst tournament I've ever had. Right, in a way that like I just didn't feel good. I felt like I had a really negative experience. And now the last worst experience I had playing was at this same store. And I'm starting to think, you know what, maybe that store is just cursed for me. And there's a certain level of chip on the shoulder with, I think, the people that play there, right? Which I like, I'm a big proponent of being a good sportsman, right?
Yeah.
Right. Even if I lose, I'm not crashing out at anybody else except myself, right? Whatever. But when somebody gets one over on you and they got that shit-eating grin on their face,
Yeah.
I just my blood boils, and it was like I made a mistake that normally I would have let somebody else take back, but I didn't ask for it to be taken back, which is fine. And that's okay. I didn't expect to get it back, but like when I made the mistake, there was this smug grin, and I was just like,
Yeah.
and that's usually when I kind of start, going down the spiral a little bit. I tilted a little bit. I'm usually good about that. I came out of it, which was fine, but I think I'm just that store's cursed. It's like your classic. It's cluttered. It looks like a bomb went off, like, which is cool to go in. You see, like, look at all this cool stuff, but like you're just like it's too chaotic.
Yeah.
Which I think probably is a little bit what's going on there. But we came out on the other side. Played some other games to kind of be like, okay, all right, let's reset.
Yeah.
And but right before this, we started building a piece of furniture that we got in. And I got to say, this has been said before, I'm sure, but Philip, great screw, right? That is a good screw head right there. Philip knows what he's doing. I love the Phillips head. It's number one. Allen, I kind of hate. Right? Actually, I have an Allen wrench in my hand right now. But I'm like, Phil's pretty cool. So, I just wanted to take some time to shout out Mr. Philip Head.
I feel like I'm on the other side of it. And it's maybe not, I'm not like pro Allen wrench specifically or Allen screw or whatever, but I just strip a lot of like Phillips heads. Yeah. So I actually like the star one, whatever you call that.
Oh God.
Cause
the star.
Those things never I use them for like outdoor stuff, and it's great. It's great. So I've had a love-hate relationship with the Phillips head screws, but I will say I like it more than the flathead, right? So,
yeah.
there you go.
The flathead, at least with the flathead, you're like, I know what I'm getting into.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It's
One
gonna be
dimension.
a lot of turning. I'm gonna have
A lot of
my
turning.
hand too much. Yeah.
Yep. I have a very hate relationship with the star head, only because we moved in this house and there was just a a shelf in a not a garage, a bathroom that we had.
Yeah.
And it was just like tilted. It was like ready to come off. I'm like, okay. I unscrewed. It was Phillips head, star right in the middle. Phillips head came out, star. For whatever, I mean, like it really got in there. Like I guess I got to give it to them for that because I was like, and I'm like, eventually I'm like trying to saw it off.
Yeah.
And but anyway, that's Screw Talk at Fresh Juice.
That's our new segment where we're going to be reviewing new screws and talking about how frustrated we get. But I'll tell you, like, whenever you think a project's going to be easy, there's always going to be something like that where you're like, what the, who did this? Why? It's just not coming out. Like, it's just, oh, man.
I get to the point where like, I'll take out the whole wall. Who cares? We'll start from scratch, But hey, we got some games to talk about. That's enough about screws. But I do have to screw one thing into your brains, folks. We do have a Discord, and if you haven't checked it out, I see we've been getting a couple new members every week. Very cool. Hop in there. It's a good time. It's a good, place to submit questions and stuff like that. And check it out in the show notes. But let's get to some. Do you want to do the juiciest take of the week first?
Yeah, we can do that. Sure.
Yeah. Hit me with yours. So
here's my juicy take. And I was thinking about this earlier. I think the Nintendo Switch 2 has made the Switch less of an appealing indie game machine.
Interesting.
And I think it's mostly because the Switch 1, right? There was kind of that moment in the beginning where like AAA developers were not supporting it right away, right? And so indies really had their time to shine on there, and it kind of became this like device that people looked at as like this is great for indies. Look at all these indies on here. They're cheaper. And I just feel like they haven't carried that sort of momentum with the Switch 2. I mean, of course there's indies on there, but I feel like it's almost like people that buy the Switch 2 aren't buying it for indie games right now. When the Switch 1, I feel like that was a big reason in the beginning. And also you have more competition now with Steam Deck and the other kind of PC handhelds that, have cheaper indies because of the Steam store and all that sort of stuff. So that's my juicy take, is that I feel like the Switch as a whole, as a brand, is kind of being less associated with indie games. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't know. I feel like they just haven't been at the forefront of the Switch 2, and the Switch 2's been a little dormant, I'll say, compared to the Switch 1. So there we go. Maybe it's not the juiciest take, but that's just something I was thinking about the other day.
I think it's fair. I have played 2 large release indie games on the Switch 2, Hollow Knight Silksong, and I also have Hades 2 on there, and then which I haven't started playing yet, but I also have Absalom is what I played it. I played it on that, so I get that. I think the actual biggest issue there with, and this is not my juicy take, I think probably some people would agree with this, but I think that they should have retired the Switch 1, like kind of like support, like not fully, you know what I'm saying? But like everything's like, hey, like even the Animal Crossing update, right? That just came out, and like, Lady Fresh has been playing the hell out of it, right? But back on the Switch 1, they're like, hey, you can buy like a whole new version, like kind of updated version of the Switch 2, but hey, we're also doing this for the Switch 1. which, you know, I felt like was cool, right, for the people who didn't jump the gun, but like you're just not giving a lot of people reasons to buy the Switch 2 outside of like the big releases. And they've had some great ones, right? Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza,
Yeah.
and even this month, which we're in February now, I'm super stoked for the new Mario Tennis, because Mario Tennis Aces on the Switch 1 was just, I mean, one of the best fighting games I've ever played. Like it was awesome. So I'm excited to see if they can kind of continue that on here. But
Yeah.
No, I think that's a fair assumption. That's a nice little juicy one.
Yeah. And I'm also kind of like a believer that, I don't know, I feel like there shouldn't have been a Switch 2. I feel like
It should have been something new.
It's just like an or just an evolution of like the Switch is the, maybe not the final console from Nintendo, but just like that's the console you can continuously iterate on, because it kind of, you know, obviously the handheld side and then like the couch, you know, being able to dock it sort of side. So I agree. Like I feel like the first Switch maybe should have been phased out a little bit more, and then like you're like, oh, this is the new Nintendo Switch, right? Like it's not the Switch 2, you know, it's just you know, it's kind of almost like what I feel like Microsoft was trying to accomplish, where it's like it's just the Xbox One, right?
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
and they have all these different versions, Xbox One S and all that, like cheaper. Like I feel like Nintendo should have maybe tried to go that route, because I just feel like because people view it as like the second console, they're kind of like, you know, hesitant to like buy it, you know, because they're like, oh, everything's still on the Switch 1, you know, like they're maybe not understanding all the benefits that the Switch 2 has. Because as someone that, you know, I have the original Switch 1, and then playing the Switch 2 is like a whole, like it's so much better. It feels so
Yeah.
much better. It runs so much better. But at the same time, it's so similar to the original Switch that I'm like, does it really feel like I'm playing a Switch 2? Like if I played the PS5 versus the PS4, that's like a big difference for me. Like in terms of like the way it looks, the controllers, all that sort of stuff. And I just feel like Nintendo, you know, I maybe expected them to have like it would just be Super Nintendo Switch. I don't know, or something like that. But I feel like
Yeah.
when you tag like, or Switch, Nintendo Switch Pro, or like some sort of like, where, you know, some sort of naming convention where it didn't feel like it was a sequel to the console, but it was just like a better version of it. So that's where I'll leave that. But
I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, it feels like I kind of hate the 1-2. Like I did, you know, I never got into PlayStation, like, you know, PlayStation 4 or 5. Like, you know, how many can you do? I always like, hey, we had the Switch, we had the Wii, now the Wii U. Obviously, that was kind of a mistake, right? But you know, I thought that was a pretty cool console anyway. But this feels more like, hey, this is a DS to a 3DS. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, which I bought anyway because it was like, oh yeah, I just want a cooler DS. You know, which, you know, let's actually let's bring it back down to my juiciest take. I'm going Nintendo with it too. Let's get a new style of DS. That would be, I think we have the capabilities to make a really sick DS that, you know, they can do like new like Nintendo properties on there, right? It could be kind of like the step down from the Switch. And then it could probably be a really good indie handheld too.
Yeah.
Right? So like I recently picked up the Playdate again and started playing games on there. And, you know, it'd been a while for me. And the amount of games that have been devved onto there is insane, right?
Yeah.
And it's amazing, you know, the creativity that people have when you only have a D-pad, A, B button, and a crank, right? So you get to experience all these really like interesting games because of the limited properties of that console. bring back like a not low powered, but like a more restricted version of a handheld for people. People love the DS.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was it was a banger.
Here you go. Ready? Nintendo Switch Pocket. There we go. And it's a mini. It's like the Lite, but it's smaller and it's got two screens. I don't know. I saw a rumor that Nintendo was going to release like a way to snap another screen onto the Switch, so it would be like the new DS. But
The
even then, it
DS.
wouldn't fit in your pocket. But
No,
I
no.
actually think that's a really smart take because I've seen so much of what is it? It's like AYN Thor. Have you seen that device? It's like
Yeah.
the um it's like a DS, but it's with more modern tech in it or whatever. It looks really awesome. I almost like I was kind of thinking about maybe trying to get one, but I think it's like a few $100s. But I think I've seen so many positive things from that, and people just the children yearn for the DS. Essentially, is kind of where like it's. I really think that is uh, a product that's been a little bit forgotten about. I'd love to see it come back at some point as well. Would you want the dual screen? Because obviously that's
Yes.
the okay. All right, that's
Because you know what? Whenever I think back, and I'll play games, right? Like I forget, there was a game we played maybe not too long ago where I was like, "Yeah, this is good," but man, would this have been amazing on the DS
yeah,
with like some like touchscreen capabilities or whatever. I mean, it really was such a cool like even games that didn't really use the touchscreen stuff. They're like, oh yeah, well you'll have your like inventory down on the bottom screen. You play the game up on the top screen,
yeah,
right? That was
yep,
like cool. And I mean, I'm thinking even like slots and daggers, right? I mean, that almost kind of looks like you're playing on a DS,
yeah. It
right?
does.
So I don't know. Bring back the DS. The DS was sick. And then
Yeah,
people are like, what does it stand for? Dual screen. That's brilliant.
yeah. There you go. Yeah, I love my DS. I still have the 3DS, the Aqua one. That I think they discontinued that color too, at some
Yeah.
point. Yeah, love love that thing.
I had all three I mean, I guess like I had the DS, the chunky one, right?
Hmm.
Which at the time it didn't feel chunky. You were like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Hmm.
And then the DSi. I think the DSi was a really slick
Yeah.
design.
That was like
And
the
that
white one that was like had curved edges, right? And kind of yeah,
hmm
okay, yeah.
that was like the Apple era
Yeah.
kind of DS. Which DSi, I mean, it's like iPhone. That's probably what they were thinking. But I thought that one was really slick too. Yeah. Oh man, the DS. You know what? That was a good console, man.
Yeah.
It's a good little handhold.
Get rid of the Switch. Just go all in on the DS.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna make you a lot of money, Nintendo,
Or not. Or
or not.
it's going to be one or the other. I think you have a 50% chance to double your profits. So, that
Yeah.
sounds pretty good to me.
Holy smokes!
Yeah.
But anyway, let's. Those are our juicy takes. They're both Nintendo themed. I've had Nintendo on the mind lately because I'm like I can't wait for Mario Tennis. So,
Yeah.
um, that game's gonna be awesome. But let's talk about some notable releases. First is a game that we are planning on reviewing next week. Tearscape. This
Yeah.
game looks sick.
It does, yeah. It comes out February 2nd, so tomorrow. It'll be out by the time you're listening to this. But it says, as a hunter, you explore a dark, interconnected world filled with dungeons, relying on precise combat to survive. Battle grotesque monsters. Ooh, is that a little uncalled for? Expand your arsenal and uncover hidden paths in a non-linear pixel art journey. Yeah, this just seems really cool. Obviously, I think there's some influences here from like old school Zelda, which is really cool. I really like that they mentioned it's like non-linear. So like if there's an area that you're having trouble with, you can probably just go to a different one. Excuse me. And it also seems like it's not overly complicated, right? The inventory system seems pretty straightforward. It's kind of got that Metroidvania sort of map system. And yeah, I don't know. This one just kind of popped out to us, right? It looks like they're going to be doing a demo, or there actually already is a demo, but they're going to be doing a
Mhm.
demo update, I guess, or they already did.
Oh, that
Uh,
was that was an old update right
oh
there
yeah,
from the
okay,
7th
yeah, from the
of
seventh.
October.
Okay, yeah. So there is a demo out there, but yeah, we're gonna check it out next week and see how it is. But anything jumping out to you about this game that you're excited for?
I mean, honestly, the art style, right? Like,
Mm.
I love the old Zeldas, and if this feels anything like that with like some actual Souls like stuff going on, this could be a real banger. I'm really excited to hop in and play this one, and hoping that maybe it's gonna be Steam Deck verified, but
Let's hope.
yeah, it's unknown, but it has full controller support, so it's kind of hard to imagine it wouldn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for this. I don't know if they have they made anything else. Nerds take over. I don't think so.
No, it
No,
doesn't
this
look
is their
like it.
first game,
Yeah.
so should be really interesting. I'm hoping it's a big one, and yeah, we'll see. We will see. Next, coming out this week is Skewer Squad.
Skewer
What
Squad. What is this one?
This one, I opened
This,
it. It looks insane. It looks like
it
a really
does.
weird, almost. It's like a bullet hell, but like kind of feels like what would you say, Space Invaders in a way.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was thinking.
But you're playing as the food on skewers on like a grill or something, and then like little mice are coming to eat it. So it it looks fun. It kind of looks like a silly little game. You know, listen, food based games end up being pretty good. I think just we like Pizza Possum. Obviously, we like Boomerang Foo.
Yep.
And then Overcooked. I mean, one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw this. I'm like, this kind of looks fun.
Yeah, you know what I like about this one too is that this I've never seen something like this, and maybe there is another game out there that's similar, but like they're trying some new stuff here, both in terms of like the game kind of mechanics, I guess, of controlling these different skewers, but also they made it a roguelite as well, so that kind of improves the replayability overall. And yeah, they also do classify it technically as a chaotic tower defense, but I kind of view this as a little bit more of like a Space Invaders kind of thing, just based on the gameplay. But yeah, this one I feel like the art style will probably get people to overlook it because right, it's a little flash gamey. Maybe people are like, all right, what is this? But then when you take a deeper look at the things that they're talking about, multiple combat builds, like the customization you can have with it, and you're drafting like random ingredients and mixing seasonings. I feel like there's a little bit more depth here than what you might originally have thought. So um, yeah, it came out actually today, February 1st. So we'll have to see how
Yeah,
the
at some
reviews
point,
are. Yeah, I
game
guess.
plans to unlock in 8 hours, but
Yeah,
it's going to be $6 with 10% off, being just under $5, I think, when it launches. So
nice.
that that is, I mean, that's a nice little sweet spot. If this is a good game, like
Yeah,
it could be, kind of a fan favorite here. So, and like it looks like based on what I'm seeing in the updates, they've been very, very like kind of like front facing and saying, "Hey, listen, we're giving you all." They're transparent is the word I'm looking for. Like
yeah,
they're not holding back anything. So this could be a good one.
yeah, for sure. I have to see how it goes, but
Hell
cool
yeah.
idea.
Now
Um,
what's this Pirates Gambit?
yeah. So this one, honestly, I think this is a gamble of whether this is going to be good or not, but it just kind of intrigued me. It says it's blending deck building with yacht dice mechanics. So roll the dice in the dimly lit cabin where fate shifts with every turn. Are you closing in on treasure or something far more sinister? So it just kind of seemed like there might be something here, right? Of like this could
Mm-hmm.
be really replayable. I like the animations. I like that you see the hands and stuff. Like the setting kind of seems really cool. And then I'm just kind of hoping there's not a lot of like RNG because you are rolling dice in the game. So I'm hoping that's not like a frustrating part of it. But I don't know. Just it just seemed interesting to me. Like it had potential. It seems like there's a lot going on in the trailer here. I have no idea really what the mechanics are. I'm not familiar with like yacht dice
Is that like
mechanics.
Yahtzee?
I
I
guess.
guess is probably like
Yeah.
yeah. It
I
kind of looks like you're trying to build hands like poker hands with your dice in a
yeah.
way. So hey,
Yeah.
you know what? This could be good. I don't know. This one could be fun.
Yeah, this is it could be a sleeper here. I don't think it had a lot of attention in terms of like follows and things like that. But let's see, is this their first game? No, they've had a few other games. It looks like a
All
few
board
other
game stuff.
yeah, board games. So yeah, there's a chance that this will end up being good, but yeah, Pirates Gambit. I don't know, just kind of caught my eye of being having some potential. So we'll see. You have to keep an eye on it. Comes out February 5th.
February 5th. Yeah, should be interesting. I I kind of like the theming. You know, these are the kind of games that I can find myself playing hours and hours if it's even remotely good. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's almost giving me some Clover Pit vibes in a way where, you know, it's like, all right, just first person, let me just like get in and gamble.
Yeah.
But yeah, could be cool. Now, you also put this Rogue Masters game.
Yeah, I threw this one right in here. I was actually talking to Shout Out Bags. We were talking about this one a little bit, but it doesn't have the best reviews. Came out January 10th, but it essentially is like from what I know, a six-player um, co-op like horde survival game that's like a Souls-like. So imagine just like basically like a co-op Souls-like game where you're just kind of fighting these hordes of enemies that are coming in. I don't think there's really like a story or anything that you're kind of going through. It's almost like seems like it's like run based. And I know reviews are mixed right now, but it also is free to play. So I think I'm gonna dive in, check it out. It's playable on Steam Deck as well. And I don't know, there's
Oh,
just something about like the simplistic art style, um, where it kind of feels like I'm trying to think of like what this is similar to because I've definitely played some other games that are like it. Maybe like Ashen for those who are familiar with Ashen, which is
oh yeah,
another
yeah.
Souls like. It's kind of similar to that. But I don't know. It just seemed like a fun game to play with some friends, and this also wasn't released this week, so I just threw it in here because I was just talking about it. I was like, I might as well mention it. So if anyone's played Rogue Masters, let me know. But I figured it's free to play, and probably will give it a shot with some buddies and have some good
Yeah,
times.
yeah. Let me know. I would be hopping in. I do like one of these one of these reviews. Can only recommend this game if your favorite part of any Dark Souls game was the one you were getting molested by 5+ enemies at the same time. Um, yeah, but you know,
I'm
there's
in
some
luck.
good reviews there. Yeah. But cool, cool. Yeah, it does look
Yeah.
cool. You know, I want to play more like friend games sometimes. You know, I feel like sometimes I'm just, you know, I'll pop into like when you guys are all in voice chat, and I'm just like sitting there jamming some roguelite, you know,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is fine. I do like that, and they get to hang out. But like, you know, if we can get a bunch of people playing something, it could be cool. So
Yeah. And
um,
maybe my rec room is one of those games too. I might have to talk about that.
maybe.
Maybe.
Ooh. Now, there was one little bit of news this week, and this was the MMO Ashes of Creation suddenly implodes 52 days after Steam Early Access launch. Now, I think some people probably saw this coming, but I I had only heard of this game, so I never really paid attention. But I know that you and like some of our friends had conversations about it, but I never hopped in.
Yeah, I never played Ashes of Creation. My first I think we only had one of our buddies that actually bought into the Steam early access and played it. and he's like a big MMO guy. And I've been getting into MMOs over the last few years, but my first exposure to this game was actually at PAX East when they were, um,
Oh yeah.
it was like $120 for like a key. Like, usually at PAX East, for those that don't know, is like you usually get to try out the games, there, and then like they might even give you a key for the game or a key for a demo that's like not out yet, and like things like that. It's kind of what you expect. So like when you go over to like the Ashes of Creation booth and they're like, you can't really play it, and you have to pay like a lot of money, like twice the amount of a normal game to play like an alpha. It really puts a bad taste in your mouth.
Mm.
And that's kind of carried on through with like the development of this game, where like I've kept my eye on it because I'm like, it's very ambitious. If they actually pull off everything that they're saying, like I could see myself playing this game, especially now that New World is no longer, a thing, or won't be a thing. But now, they apparently are closing down. So I don't think it's official yet, but it's gonna happen. I'd say within the next 60 days, because what had happened is that the creative director, Stephen Sharif, who is also the founder of Ashes of Creation and, has had a history with like kind of like pyramid schemey kind of stuff, he put out a statement saying that the board basically took control over the game, made some decisions that he wasn't happy with. So he resigned. And then because of his resignation, a bunch of senior leadership also resigned as well. And then due to that, the board then decided to issue something called, it's like a WARN Act notice. It essentially is like a notice to all employees of, hey, like we're going to do mass layoffs soon. That's basically what that is. But there's been no, I think, confirmation of like who specifically, what teams have been laid off there. But it's clear the writing's on the wall here for Ashes of Creation. And this is coming 52 days right after their Steam early access launch, which had a lot of controversial feedback because the game has been off of Steam and in alpha stages for a while. And a lot of those players that have hundreds or thousands of hours in the game didn't think it was ready for Steam. Clearly, from the reviews of it on Steam, it was not ready for a Steam launch. But now things are getting a little interesting because this was originally a Kickstarter. And on the Kickstarter page, it actually says if Ashes of Creation fails to launch, everyone will receive refunds. So people are wondering, is the launch on Steam considered a launch or not? Is that why they did it? Because they knew this was going to happen. And also, just in terms of like who the board is, apparently it's Steven and his husband are the board. So I don't know why he was blaming the board. That's what people have told me, at least. I haven't like looked into that extensively. Just because I think there's more concerning things to kind of talk about here. But the Steam thing is very interesting because it makes me think that they knew this was going to happen, or there was a high chance of it happening. So they just wanted to cover their asses and not have to refund everybody because, hey, technically we're on Steam. We launched. But does launch mean you get out of early access? Does launch mean early access? Who knows? But yeah, this is a very, very interesting story. I feel really bad for the players, the people that have put a lot of money and a lot of time in, that believed in this game. This is a kind of a different thing that's happening here versus what happened with New World, where New World, had had some success, I would say, overall, and just kind of tapered off from there. But Ashes is just, I see a lot of people saying they weren't surprised by this. I think you kind of mentioned that. So yeah, it sucks for the players, but it's also like, this is why you got to be careful where you're investing your money. When it comes to gaming, especially games like this that are asking for a lot of money. Star Citizen comes to mind, which apparently that game's still going on. But people have invested a lot of money into that. I'm so glad I didn't buy into this game, basically, because there were a few times I was on their store page and I was like, you know what? I'm happy to see the development of this one. But there was just always something where I was like, this is just too much money for an alpha. And I'm just glad I didn't hop in. So interesting stuff here. But, we'll see how it really unfolds when the official statements come out. But it seems like, Steven is mostly to blame. And Yeah, we'll just see kind of what happens here. But just figured I'd bring it up because technically it's an indie game as well. So sucks to see an indie game that had a lot of eyes on it, kind of shut down pretty quickly after its Steam launch. So yeah.
Yeah, the MMO thing is interesting, right? Because I would be wary to get into new MMOs, and I played a little bit of New World when it came out, right? Like that one, like okay, that one's like a big release, but
Mm.
you look at like the most popular. Like I'm looking at like I don't know somebody's list. I don't know if it really is the most popular, but it probably has some correlation with people playing. Final Fantasy, right?
Yeah.
Online or whatever. Yeah, huge IP. World of Warcraft, old IP that's been around forever, but was always kind of like the thing. And Blizzard's just gonna always kind of keep that around.
Yeah.
Guild Wars 1, Destiny 2, Warframe, Eve. I've definitely I know people love that game. Guild Wars 2, Maple Story, RuneScape, Black Desert Online.
RuneScape.
Like these are a lot. These are like not new properties. I like when's the last like big new property kind of come into the MMO world? It's like I think there's probably a couple of good free to play ones out there, but it could be it's a little dicey like risking making them but also like getting into them, right? Like obviously you see this happen now. There's probably some other things going on here that are a little bit unsavory, but the MMO world is interesting. Like I don't know, like I don't think this is the end of stuff like this happening.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think I was looking in even before this Ashes news came out, it was um there's a lot of desperation in the MMO RPG community where they're like World of Warcraft. I've never even played WoW, but I just know it's like the gold standard for MMOs, and it's not really, I'm sure the features have to have a lot to do with it and like everything you can do, but it's like the time that World of Warcraft came out, people want to recapture that era, right? Of
Mm-hmm.
like that nostalgia. And I feel like that is a hopeless kind of goal,
Yep.
where you're never going to be able to recapture that. But I feel like a lot of these MMOs that are coming out are trying to do that, and they need to approach it in a different way. They need to approach it in uh, maybe even in like a bite-sized form, right? Like not everyone needs a full MMO. There was actually a free-to-play game that came out not that long ago, Where Winds Meet, that is people consider an MMO light, and it had really positive feedback. So there's definitely a want for MMO like features, but I don't think that there needs to be a game like Ashes that tries to do everything, because then this is what you kind of end up with. Even even like games like New World, right, where like they're not that they were trying to do everything, but they were trying to really be like the next MMO. Like people, labeled it as like, oh, it's just the WoW killer, all that sort of stuff. Like you kind of need to, I feel like, get away from that a little bit. And there's a lot of IP, like I think the reason we don't see these big IPs that are like trying to make an MMO is because the failure rate is just too high, right? Like you don't want to tarnish like Lord of the Rings, right, by coming out with a
Mm-hmm.
or Harry Potter with like an MMO. So they stick to like single player kind of games. And it sucks because like I never was in the WoW back then. Like I wasn't into MMOs, and Destiny was the first game that's kind of like an MMO light that started to get me into them. And now I got a RuneScape account. I played New World, played ESO, and it just uh it feels like no one's really cracked the code because all they're trying to do is recapture that World of Warcraft nostalgia, and that's impossible to do. It's like it's like with any other genre, where they're trying to recapture, dungeon crawlers, right? Like we're always like, oh, remaster like Gauntlet Dark Legacy, because we want a remaster of a game to bring us back there. We don't want a new Gauntlet. So like
Mm-hmm.
maybe, I don't know, maybe there's something there where it's like, uh, it's not that World of Warcraft should be remastered or something like that, but like the people that want that experience go play World of Warcraft. Like you're probably not going to get another game that's going to make you feel like that. So yeah, it's as much as I want this genre to like succeed, because I'd love to have a game where I can just like um I could play for years, right? And oh, there's new and like all the buddies, all the boys hop in and play. Like I had a great time playing RuneScape because of that, but RuneScape is also very dated, so there's only so much of it I can kind of take in one session before I'm like, all right, I got to play something else. So I don't know. It's this is a community that's extremely desperate, that wants anything. They're scraping the bottom of the barrel here, where they're just like, I'll take anything that's coming out, I'll pay anything you want. And I think that that's hurting the genre at the end of the day, where I feel like there needs to be studios that maybe take an MMO light approach a little bit more, um, and that might be a little bit more successful. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not an MMO purist or anything like that, so maybe I'm way off base. But I just think that I always see our one of our buddies. He's always posting like these different MMOs, and every time I look at it, I'm like, man, they're promising a lot, and I
Mm-hmm.
just like, are they going to be able to deliver? And time and time again, they just don't. So I don't know. In my opinion, I'm like, give me a friend slop MMO light kind of game. I don't know, something like that. Uh, Maybe is more in line with what people want these days, or the majority, I should say. So, anyway, I don't know.
Give me a Ballatreau. You know what I'm saying,
Oh
folks?
my
Hey,
god!
one last thing I want to say about MMOs is like I would have to assume the prime audience is people our age who really got into like WoW in high school, middle school, etc., or college, and that demographic does not have that time anymore.
Yes, but they want
So
that time,
they want
and
that
they can't
time.
have it.
They can't have it. They hop in, they play for a little bit, and then never play again.
Mhm.
Right? We have real life things to do, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So I just don't think it can happen. I just don't think
Yeah,
RuneScape's the perfect one because it's like kind of hop in whenever you can play on your phone, yada yada yada. And WoW is just always going to have like it's going to be able to offer things to bring people back into play a little bit more,
yeah,
right? So that's just how I see it. You know,
yeah.
but yeah, that's the last thing. But
It even, well, just one more thing about that
yeah,
too. It even, I think it that inspired, this kind of MMO light sort of like genre to be a little bit more popular. And there's even, I forget the name of the game, so Juiceheads maybe correct me in the Discord, but there's a game that came out that is and it had positive reviews. It's an MMO, but it's single player, and all the other
oh
players are NPCs, right? So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
like you're never gonna, get behind because no one else is really playing the game. I think they even added a co-op mod or something like that. That interests me because I'm like, I don't care about, even in regular MMOs, I'm not really interacting with other players that much, like unless I'm like helping them out fight something, but I'm not talking to them, really.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, what do I care if it's not a real person that I'm helping out here? Something
Yeah,
like
I should
that is
hop into
kind of
that one
interesting.
too.
Yeah, yeah, right. Because like
Yeah.
I feel like that it's almost like we need an MMO to come out where they don't tell you that that's the case, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
everyone's just in their own server and they don't
We're like,
realize
this is
that, yeah,
crazy.
dude, everyone's so friendly. People dropping me stuff. This is great. And then that'll be like a good test to be like, do people really want a true MMO, or they just want like an experience of playing with other characters? I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's just I gotta remember the name of that game because I do want to check it out. But That was it.
Yeah.
I've never seen a game do that before, and it seemed like people were enjoying it. So it's
And
pretty cool.
people were talking about it. So, but yeah, yeah, MMOs. We'll see where they go. I mean, I think there needs to be some kind of, real like switch up kind of innovation. But
Yeah,
let's talk about some playtests and some demos we've been playing.
let's do it.
It was like kind of like a fortuitous week in terms of like I got into three different playtests. One of them you sent me. Um, and then I also downloaded two demos of games that I was kind of really had my eyes on. And I saw they had demos, and like, people were really talking up those demos and like getting really hyped about the game. So I was like, let me hop in. Um, do you want to talk about demos first and then we get into the playtests?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right, cool. So the first demo I played was Lucid. This is probably like a Celeste like platformer, right? And really cool pixel art. Seemingly had like really cool like mechanics and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, let me check this out. I didn't expect anything crazy, but I was playing this and I gotta say, this was a tight platformer. And, I think there's definitely some kinks that need to be worked out. Obviously, it's a demo, so you don't really hold that against them. But, some really interesting mechanics. And, like, there's a lot of them, too. It's like, it doesn't, like, it's a little bit more complex, I would say, than Celeste in terms of the mechanics. But the platforming felt super clean, super tight. And, I will say I don't expect this to kind of have the same emotional weight that Celeste had. It's just not that kind of game, but it definitely has more of a grandiose, kind of like a neo fantasy
Yeah.
thing going on, because it's definitely like has some fantasy vibes, but with some kind of cyberpunky stuff going on as well. And yeah, I hopped in. I played it, and I just like I could see the appeal of this game, and I have to imagine like fans of like Celeste, and even what was the one Archaeogem,
Yeah.
this has like a lot of really cool things going for it. And I also think the game is just like straight up beautiful. So hopped in, really enjoyed it. I think if you're interested in that kind of Celestivania, is that what they called this? Yeah, but like it also has Metroidvania vibes, but like you don't really get Metroidvania is like kind of like a hard thing to demo, right? Because you're like,
Yeah.
well, I can only do so much. But very, very cool. It seems like they're gonna be able to stick the landing on this. So if you're interested in that style of game, I would definitely check out the demo and see what it's all about, because it was like fast paced and like you're like, holy smokes. But it did feel like it would come together, right? Like it didn't feel like overwhelming with the amount of mechanics either. So check it out.
Yeah. I mean, this looks like really polished and just, it looks like a good time. I definitely want to check out the demo. I mean, the art style right away like pulls me in, and then just the fact like all the like kind of aerial things you can do in the game. And I haven't played Celeste. I know I need to, but this it seems like it's really well made. You can just kind of tell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just from the gameplay. And even I was taking a look on their Steam page as well. They someone they posted, has Lucid been a mega Troidvania this whole time? Because they said Lucid feels more like a Mega Man Zero Metroidvania.
Sure.
So do
Okay.
you kind of get those vibes, would you say?
Yeah, I guess they're with the weaponry kind of things going on, because you have like a sword, but then
Hmm.
also like a little like kind of beam slash like I guess very Mega Man esque like kind of single burst things.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see that, but I think they said Celestivania because it feels like the art style is
Yeah.
definitely
Oh, yeah.
closer to that. So And it's also like, come on, like Celeste is great. I mean, nothing wrong with Mega Man Zero, but
Yeah.
I think this would be a really cool one for people to get into. So, and it's
Yeah.
coming out Q1 2026, so hopefully soon.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Now, another one I hopped into, and this game is insane. Forbidden Solitaire. We talked briefly about this, I think, the other week.
Yeah.
It's as crazy as it looks, and I am here for all of it. I've replayed this like very somewhat short demo, at least feels short, and like it's so cool. It's like very meta. You're like playing through a solitaire game on a PC, and then like somebody's like messaging you. It's like popping up and like saying like, you got access to that game, you found it, like you can't even find that game, you should burn it and rip it so people could play it. And they're like, oh wow, like really creepy things happened to the devs while they were making this
Oh.
game. So it's like super like weird meta, but like the actual gameplay is like pretty fun. It's like got like, I wouldn't say like deck building like things going on, but it is like solitaire, and like
Mm.
you can get like different kind of abilities, and there's jokers you can buy and stuff like that, which is kind of neat too. And the gameplay is basically just, hey, you gotta like go one up or one down from the card that you have, right? And then you kind of do that. There's two different kinds of encounters. There's a like actual battle encounters where you're fighting a thing that is like going to deal X amount of damage to you at the end of the turn, and you can like buff up your defense if possible, if you find those cards, et cetera, et cetera. And then the amount of cards that you are able to place in one turn is the amount of damage you'll do. And then also there's like hidden secret kind of like encounters where you're like, you have to like clear all the cards, and that is the main idea of that, to like go past to the next area. So the demo, I've played through it like 3 or 4 times, I think, at this point. And like, it was only, I can see how much time I put in with it. I played like 75 minutes. So, I guess like
Jeez.
it's like a 25-minute demo, I would say. And I think it's really cool. I think I'm really hyped for this game. It's so weird. It's so weird and like very addicting, and there's a cool like gem system too. Yeah, this is a weird one. I recommend playing the demo because you're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? This is so strange. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, this definitely has my interest. It even says on their Steam page that where is it? The game length is like 3 to 4 hours in general. So that's
Hmm.
probably why they didn't put too much into the demo.
Yeah.
But I did find it really funny. They're listing all the features. It's like other teams. The devs and the story and music team worked on these other games. This is how you can do. And then like the last thing, uninstall the game before it's too late. That's like one of the features, and I'm just like, what is that? So that definitely like piques my interest and makes sense with kind of what you were saying about like, weird things happen to the devs, did you know that? And all that sort of stuff. So this is definitely on my radar and just looks wild. Um, this really does. And I just hope that, because does this seem, based on the demo, like since it says game length 3 to 4 hours, like does this seem like a Balatro where like you're gonna do multiple playthroughs of it, or is it kind of like you might do like one or two, try different things, and you're kind of like, all right, I get my fill.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say. Like I have to imagine like the story side will be 3 to 4 hours because it's not like a roguelike, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just an actual story. Like when you go through the demo, you're kind of experiencing the same story over and over again. The encounters are pretty much the same outside of like the randomness of the cards that are placed. Um, I would like personally for them to kind of do like an endless mode or something like that
Mm-hmm.
alongside of it, because that would be really interesting. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if like you'll be like getting any kind of meta progression where you'll unlock different things to like find. So
Yeah.
it's hard to tell what that plan is. It could be like that, but I can't really tell.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems awesome.
Yeah, it's a wacky game. Now,
Yeah.
did you play any demos?
Yeah, I did. I played one demo. There's another one I just can't talk about yet that I've been really enjoying. But I played this other demo that actually just came out. Whoops, not Cursed demo. Cursed Words is what it's called.
Oh yeah.
So this one is really surprising to me about how polished and replayable this feels. So basically, I haven't played a ton of the demo, but it's basically like a roguelike Scrabble kind of, where you have a set I don't know if it's like Scrabble. It's hard to like
It's more like Boggle.
in the
or
terms of like scoring, it's like Scrabble where different letters have different values, but then it's also like a word search where you're trying to like form words that are in this grid of letters that you have. So it's kind of a combination of that. But then you also, the roguelike elements is like you get different, different perks and things of that nature where like, oh, if you form a word with like the letter Q in it, you get like triple the word score. And every level you have a word score that you're trying to beat. So it's kind of similar to like Balatro in that way, right? Where there's like a certain score you're trying to get to for that level. And I had a great time playing this. I haven't gotten like super in depth with it to know all the different like variables that can happen, but it seems like there is a ton of replayability with this game. And I really think that this is one that's kind of flown under the radar. I haven't seen really anyone talk about it. And maybe it's because it's kind of word based and, there's a certain audience for those type of games, but like I love word based kind of games, like I enjoyed playing Wordle, right? Like when that was really
Mhm.
popular and all that sort of stuff. But this is it's a really well made game. I hope it ends up on mobile at some point, but there are different stickers and stamps you can get that kind of help with. I think they even have a picture of it right here. There's like a little shop, right? So it's like, for example, tiles get +8 tile score for each adjacent void tile. So those are like the purple tiles, right? And then you can get stamps, at the start of the shop, frozen items get $2 cheaper. So anything that's like got a frozen tag on it. So it's kind of like, very similar to like Balatro, I would say, like in the shops where you're kind of building, uh, your synergies and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. If you like word games, it's definitely, I would say, something you have to check out. If you're not in the word game, I mean, it's very word focused, but it's great. So I can't say enough good things about Cursed Words. I've been really enjoying it, and I can't wait to hop back in.
Yeah. This looks awesome. Looks like right up my alley. I mean, it's got some similarities to a game that I did a playtest of coming up here. But yeah, this looks awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
So what you want to talk about that game?
Yeah, we'll hop right into it. It's Gambinanza. This is a game I've had my eye on for a long time, and then they did a playtest. We're in a playtest right now. This is a little it's like a little chess roguelike. I mean, it's just so cool. This game's awesome. So you have like gambits, which are like basically your like items or what would you call them in like Slay the Spire? Your artifacts or something like that.
Yeah.
That give like buffs or synergy things. And basically, like you start out, you only have 3 spots on the board for chess pieces, and you start out with 3 random chess pieces. It basically is just going to give you 3 random ones, but you can buy new ones. You also have like a kind of an arsenal of ones that you can kind of bring into the game once you have a spot open from the side, and you can like buy like ones that have backup, and then yeah, you're just kind of like playing like mini chess games, right? Like they all work the same way, they move the same way, chess pieces, but each encounter is going to have a different variety of chess pieces and a different variety of like kind of order, right? Like they're not always going to be starting in the same spot. There's bosses that have special abilities. Sometimes the enemy pieces have special abilities. And then you can also like alter like spaces on the board. So like there's a ghost one that says if your piece lands on the ghost space, create a copy of that piece in your arsenal part. I forget what they call it in this game. And then you can use that in the game, and really, really sick.
Yeah.
There's like the gambits will give certain kinds of bonuses based on like if you like do things with rooks, like it'd just be like all rook based synergies. So like whenever or even like there's one that says all of your pawns are called rooks. So if you have a bunch of pawns,
Yeah.
but they do something that would have triggered a rook thing, they get the trigger, right?
Cool.
And then it's really cool. And then like if you get a pawn up to the other end of the board, you can upgrade it to a queen or you can upgrade it to any piece actually for that round. It's a really sick game. I'm super excited for this one. This one I've put in 3 hours of the playtest already. I played a lot of it. I think that one of the things like these playtests will do is they'll send you like a Google what the hell do they call those? The Google or you questionnaire or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And
Google form.
Google form and one I didn't have a lot of complaints. Obviously, this game looks sick. First of all, I just think that maybe I think maybe it could be a little bit more difficult, right? I found myself kind of winning, all my runs. I mean, not all of them, but like definitely it felt a little bit easier to get through this playtest. But definitely there were a couple, probably because there was a couple gambits that felt like insanely good. You're just like, okay, like I feel like I can't lose with this gambit.
Right.
So really interesting. There are really interesting decisions because if you lose a piece in a round, you lose it forever. So you got to buy more pieces, and you can lose up to 3 times before it's game over in a round. So it's awesome. I think I think you can submit to get into this playtest still, but this is a really, really sick game. I'm excited for the full release of this.
Yeah, I can't wait to hop in and try it out. What I really like about it too is that, because we've played other like chess type games, is that this is like a bite-sized version of chess, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it feels like. It's not, trying to take the full game of chess and make it like a roguelike and try to do spins on that. This is just, a smaller board. There's a limited number of pieces, and then they're able to add in all the other variables based on that. So interesting that you were saying though that like, like you felt the difficulty could be ramped up, just because I feel like with chess, you normally, right, like you're thinking multiple steps ahead, like it can be a very like intensive kind of game and be difficult. So I'd love to see this get a little bit more difficult then and kind of lean a little bit more into like what people expect out of chess, I guess. But yeah, I'm excited to hop in. I mean, this is got a great name, and it's it seems right up my alley as well. And what is this, the third game we've talked about that's taking a classic game and doing a new spin on it? I mean, we got like a word search Scrabble game, we got the Solitaire game. I mean, like, did we call this or what?
We did. It's funny. I told you this, but I was playing this game and Lady Fresh came in and she's just like, you just love games that are just other games. I was like, you got that right. So I was like, holy moly, nailed it.
Yeah, that's great. I would put that on our business card. Right? We love games that are other games.
Yep. Yeah, and obviously, like with the psychedelic backgrounds, like this is like, hey, we love Balatro too.
Yeah.
So check that out.
There's a Balatro
Gambinanza's no. Oh, what? We're never getting that content update. But hey, very sick, very sick.
Yeah.
What else? Did you do any playtests that you can talk about?
Yeah, I did one playtest. It's for this game called Gang of Frogs. I actually made a video about it.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it still is open, so people can get access to it. I will say, like, it didn't run the best. I had to tweak some settings, and then it started to run a little bit better. So obviously, it's a playtest. They're figuring that sort of stuff out. But the easiest way to describe this game is like if you're familiar with Helldivers 2, it's like a kind of a less intensive version of that, where you it's a co-op game, 1 to 4 players. You each play as like frogs that you can like customize in different ways, and you have guns, obviously. And you drop into these alien worlds, and you're kind of fighting these like alien crab things, and you're doing these little missions, and you're having to move from room to room after you complete a certain objective in a room. And then there's different weapons you can get and different abilities. You can kind of see from the trailer, like it can get pretty cool. You can like there's one ability that like puffs up your frog so he can like float in the air and then attack things from up top. There's a shop in the middle of each run, I believe, or each room, I should say, that kind of adds like this deck builder element to the game as well, where you're kind of building a deck of your abilities, and you're trying to figure out your synergies based on that. So the shop, will have different cards in it that, it might be, like it's just regular cards too. So it'll be like a 5 of diamonds, and then you get, that 5 of diamonds has an ability on it. And then you can get another card that says like, oh, all your diamond cards like get twice the amount of damage, right? Or like something like that, or like are just better because of the type of card they are. So it's fun. I only played it solo, so I haven't played the co-op, but I know there's been a lot of positive feedback about this one. And yeah, it's a fun play test. It's going to be coming out in early access at some point this year. But I recommend, if you have some time and you're into Helldivers and you kind of want something a little similar, but definitely on the lighter side of things, it's not as intensive. Gang of Frogs. It's a frog game too. I mean, who doesn't want to play as a frog at the end of the day?
Yeah.
So it's a fun one. I enjoyed my time
Do you
with
ever
it.
have to cross the road and like maybe hop on some logs? I
I
don't know.
mean, you never know. You never know what's behind the next door, So that would be awesome, though, if there was like a Frogger inspired level. Oh, also, there's like a cool thing where when you revive a teammate, you use this thing called the Frogulator, and it 3D prints it 3D prints your teammate back to life. So it's just kind of a
That's
cool
sick.
little animation thing that they have going on that they like to promote.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Well, yeah, it looks sick. I love frogs, and this did. I saw the video you made. And I was like, this actually, I could see myself playing this. So I'll be keeping an eye on it,
Yeah.
For full release. Now, I also played 2 other playtests. First one, Dice Vaders, which is sounds familiar to a game we played, Star Vaders. This is kind of like a sequel ish thing. It's like a dice roguelike game where you're actually playing as the enemy
Hmm.
from Star Vaders. You're playing as like the little robots. It's a totally different game system. You are basically building out, like there's 6 slots for the numbers of the dice, right? The d6. And your like artifacts will coincide with each slot, right? So like
Hmm.
you could put a artifact in the 6 that will do X amount of things. And it's an interesting game. It's a really interesting concept. It feels very as interesting as Star Vaders, which was a great deck builder. This is a little bit. This is not so much a dice builder, right? Because you're kind of rolling the same kind of dice, but you're building out where you place the dice,
Yeah.
and it's really interesting. I think like there's definitely some balanced stuff and like a few mechanics that need to be worked out, but this is what a playtest is for. But I enjoyed my time with it. I mean, I love Star Vaders, but Interested to see where this game goes because, you look at it, you're like, this is not on the same scale. It feels like, and like even, the UI is a lot different. But once you get into it, you're like, okay, I get it. This is pretty neat. So,
Yeah.
it definitely can get to the point that feels closer to like the big number go up rather than like a Slay the Spire. Like Star Vaders, definitely on the Slay the Spire side of things. Dice Vader has a little bit closer to the Balatro side of things. So interesting playtest. I did enjoy it. I'll probably play a little bit more of it at some point, and excited to see where this game goes because I did really love Star Vaders, and this kind of piqued my interest.
Yeah, this I mean, number go up. I'm in, yeah, it seems pretty cool. It's like doesn't seem like too complicated either. Which is nice. So I'll have to check this one out for sure. Since we did like Star Vader so much, but I'll have to check it out. It's kind of cool they're doing a game in like the same universe too. Like we don't see that often.
Yeah, that's like totally different, which is
Yeah.
neat. So yeah, this one's on the radar. And then finally, this is one that you shared with me, Burn with Me. Did you play this one as well?
I haven't played it yet. I have it downloaded,
Okay.
but I haven't been able
Yeah.
to hop in. But it seemed different than other deck builders. So, what was your experience with the playtest?
Yeah, so it's like it's a deck builder where um it's all hand drawn too, which is really neat. And you're like playing as like this professor who was like teaching people how to like raise demons and stuff like that. And basically the mechanic here is every round you are trying to get a new card. You have 3 cards to pick from to add to your deck. But you don't get it added to your deck right away. You have to beat that card first. So basically, rather than like at the end of the round you pick, at the beginning of the round you pick, and then at the end of the round you'll get it. So the
That's
mechanic is, yeah, it's very interesting. There's 5 slots. It's like a pentagram, and you have to place a card on each slot to capture the demon. You're basically trying to fill up a vial, with X amount of numbers each time, and each card will have like a certain kind of placement based effect, right? So, if you're watching the video, you see one card that says, if this has no neighbors, and it's all on placement. So like you get the numbers immediately. So one says, if this has no neighbors, get +5. So it's 4, but when you place it next to nobody, it'll get +5. So it'll be 9. And then there will be ones that like, this one will get +2 for each neighbor it has. So you want to place that third. You'll place one in one slot and then another and like create a kind of space for that one and play it there to get extra points to try to make sure you get enough points to get the demon that you're trying to resurrect, which is a card. It's a really interesting concept. I do like it. It's very, very, I feel like bare bones right now. It's a play test. It's fair. I think they're really getting a feel for the mechanics, and that's what they're kind of asking about. I think that there is a lot of potential because, there's ways that you like can manipulate numbers via the pentagram, but also you can like use cards that get burnt in your like little I don't even know what you call it, like the where your cards are being shown at the bottom for you to choose from. So like there's placement stuff there, there's placement stuff up in the pentagram. It's like an interesting game. I have it on my radar for sure because I did find it to have like a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Will they stick the landing is the biggest question. I think the bare bones are there, so they just really have to fill it out. And it's a very unique looking game too, which I do like that. Weird looking characters, kind of funny. So I'm hoping this one they really get to a point where it if right now it feels a little bit one note, but I think there's a lot of potential with the card design here. So they gotta get that.
Yeah, this one is actually a Jester game. That's how I found out about it. Was they have a campaign
Oh,
for Burn
nice.
with me, so I was like, oh, let me check this out, and yeah, it seemed pretty interesting. I'll have to hop into the playtest and check it out. But yeah, definitely the art style kind of grabbed me, and the fact there's like this hand that's I guess like always there or there most of the time is kind of interesting. So yeah, I have to check it out. I have to check it out. It's on the radar.
Nice,
Um,
nice.
I didn't play any other playtests or demos though this for this week since I can't talk about one of them yet. But hopefully next week I'll be able to talk about that, or maybe in 2 weeks. We'll see. But it's definitely a game I've been having a lot of fun with. So
Sweet.
um, yeah. Anything else from your side that you played?
No, no, that was it. I mean, I played a lot this week actually.
You
And
did.
I had a lot of fun too. So,
Yeah.
next week we got Tearscape. We'll be reviewing, and we got a couple listener questions right now, real quick. First one from Bags, who you mentioned earlier. What is your preferred hot dog size? Standard, ballpark, footlong, or cocktail?
Um, Probably a standard ballpark dog. I mean cocktail ones are fine, but I'm not really getting my fill there. Footlongs are good as well. It's just sometimes I feel like you get the bun's like just way too small. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know for like some of the footlongs, but some of them are good. I don't know. I don't know. Standard ballpark dog usually is like the go-to for me. It's nice and balanced. But you know, that's what I'm gonna go with for
All
that.
right.
What about you? Are you a foot longer?
Yeah, if I see a footlong, I'm getting it. But
Yeah.
cocktail weenies, I do. I go through a lot of pigs in a blanket.
Yeah.
Like, if you got them, keep them away from me because I'm eating
Yeah.
them.
I
So,
I just feel like if I'm craving a hot dog and I have cocktail weenies, they don't really fully satisfy my hot dog craving. They're just
true.
like they're like a separate category for me in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
It's almost like if I'm craving pizza versus if I'm craving Domino's, they're like two different things, you
Oh,
know. Which I'm not craving
yeah.
Domino's, but I'm just saying like
Yeah,
Domino's
yeah,
is like
yeah.
a different thing. So that's how I feel about the cocktail weenie. But I do
Well,
love
I think like
typical.
pizza rolls would be a better example, right?
No,
You're like,
no, no. Domino. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly. So yeah, but you're a foot longer.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got a foot long the other day. I mean, I like my favorite kind of hot dog needs to have the casing, right? I want the snap, right? I don't mind like your classic like ballpark dogs. Listen, I'll eat them. I'm. It's rare I'm going to turn down the hot dog ever. So yeah, but I'm a foot long guy.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question, Bags. Always down to talk hot dogs. Of course, R Carp asks most anticipated album of this year. I know that she is very excited for the new Carly Rae Jepsen album as well as the Harry Styles album. Neither of those are on my list, but what about you?
Um, Easily, I think the top of my list is actually an album called "The Fall Off" from J. Cole. Comes out
Okay.
actually on February 6th. So the reason I'm very excited for this one, as someone that I like hip hop. I think J. Cole is like just a really at the top of the list, I'd say, or very close to the top. But the Fall Off specifically is an album that he has been like teasing for like a decade in like his songs and talking about it. And he's always kind of mentioned like this is his last album. So he's kind of putting the best of what he's made on there. And he released a single from it kind of recently. It wasn't like officially, it was just like a video, but it had the song in it that was like he was talking about his like life story but in reverse, and it was just expertly crafted like storytelling. And like you can I always love when like there's a hip hop artist and like they're or any artist and you can visualize what they're saying, right? And like clearly, and he just does that to like a you know the the nth degree. It's just like it's so well done, and I just can't wait for this album. I hope it lives up to all this hype because there's been other albums that have been from other artists that have been rumored, like Detox from Dr. Dre is like an album that like is probably never gonna ever happen, but it was supposed to be his like final album. But this one looks like it's actually a real thing, and I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I appreciate with J. Cole, like that's you know, just about like being a father and like all this sort of stuff that he is just so grounded and like um it's not like anything I've really listened to before, like the stuff he talks about. And I just can't wait for this album. And it comes out, in just a few days, and I hope it's good. But honestly, I can't think of any other albums that are supposed to come out this year from artists that I listen to. I guess there's a Streetlight Manifesto album that's supposed to drop, but who knows when? I mean, it just keeps getting delayed, so I'm not gonna claim it's coming out this year because that'll just jinx it. So I'll go with this the fall off from J. Cole. I'm very excited for it. So hopefully it's good. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Um,
What about you?
my most anticipated album, I don't really know. There's like two albums that are coming out that I am excited for, and they're both from Irish artists. The first was from the Scratch, Pull Like a Dog, which I really like the single from that. And then Kneecap is coming out with a new album called Fenian, kind of like reclaiming that term, and Kneecap's pretty fun. So I'm kind of interested to see if they can continue to be super relevant, because they had like a really big 2025, 2022, 2024. So, if this album is a banger as well, they should be able to kind of keep being crazy. So, yeah, one of those two. So, yeah, I don't know. But
You're into the Irish artists, I tell you.
I know it's just like there's something about it. Like even like the non like trad stuff. Like Kneecap's just a rap band,
Yeah.
right? And then like the Scratch is like a punk kind of like metal band, like.
Yeah.
And then I'll like the slow kind of banjo music too. I don't know. So it's just like it all pops up on my Spotify now because I listen to so much of it, and I'm like, they're putting out some good stuff. And like a lot of the bands I like here in the States just like haven't really put out anything anytime recently. So
So you had to
but hey,
go international. I get it.
I had to go, yeah, to go. Now let's go to the rec room where we recommend something that perhaps isn't an indie game, but I think you are going to recommend something that is one.
Yeah.
Is it indie?
It is indie.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is a
What do you have
game
for us?
called Lort, Lort. And I got to tell you, this has been a lot of fun. It's a 8-player co-op game. It's a roguelite. Essentially, think of this as like Risk of Rain meets Megabonk. It's less than $10 as well right now. It's early access. But we actually had a full party the other day playing this.
Wow.
8 people online, and it was a great time. It's you're kind of just you choose a different class that has different abilities, and then you go into this world with all your buddies. And then there are chests everywhere that have different gold amounts that you need to open, very similar to like Megabonk, right? So you got to try to get gold by defeating enemies or finding gold in certain areas. And then there's goblin camps everywhere. There's a boss battle that you got to go fight at the end there. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. It's not the most polished game. It's early access right now, and there's definitely things I would like to see improve with the game overall. But it's a really fun, like if you got some buddies and you want to hop in and just kind of have that mega bonk kind of co-op feeling where you're just doing ridiculous silly things and you're just picking up like tons of power-ups and having all these crazy builds. It's a really fun game, and it's really hard to beat when it's under $10. It's just totally worth checking out if you're into like Risk of Rain, Mega Bonky kind of vibes. It's right there. So yeah, check it out. Lord, pretty cool game.
Sweet. I'm recommending a board game called Thief's Market. I just picked it up. It's kind of like Splendor, I guess, in a way, if anybody's familiar with that, except with dice. You roll these dice, everybody's a thief, and like the dice are out there and you know what you can buy in the market. So you know what symbols you need. So on your turn, you grab as many of the dice as you want, right? But then the next player can choose to take more dice from the middle or steal all of your dice and then put one back. So it goes around until everybody has at least one dice, right? So like basically you have to think, you don't want to be too greedy like in the beginning. Like if you're the first person picking, you're like, okay, I could go for a lot, but I'll just get it stolen and I won't be able to, get what I need. So you have to think about that, and then you buy stuff out of the market after you do that, and then you just roll the dice again and you start doing that again. So it's fun. You're trying to like pick dice and buy things in a way that kind of build a little bit of a synergy. Like you can buy something that will say, oh, if you have any 2 green dice, you can turn it into 2 blue dice or something like that. So he's like, oh, I'll focus on green stuff so I can like turn it into blue stuff, and it's neat. So yeah, I've been liking it. It's cool.
So how many? There's a lot of dice with this one.
Yeah. So you can play up to like I think 5 players. So like you got to have enough so that like you're.
Yeah.
I think you can roll max 16 dice, but you're never ending up with that many because it's usually some kind of split of whatever that 16 is.
Yeah. Seems like simple enough too, which is cool.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm sure we'll play this at some point,
Yeah.
or something. But looks cool. Thieves Market. I have to check it out.
And it was relatively inexpensive. I got like the deluxe edition. I think it was like maybe $40, which is like not bad for like a pretty well made board game. So
yeah. Have you is Pickpocket the publisher? Have you gotten?
Yeah. I've never gotten any other games from them, but it came. Like TikTok's a great resource for like board games and like stuff that they like. People will kind of recommend stuff, and I felt like Pickpocket Games. I don't know. They've made. Let's see, Shop All Products. They have Thief Market. Maybe that's it so far. Maybe you have another game coming out. A cozy hotel game. Oh, it's in Kickstarter right now. So, yeah, I don't know. Cool stuff.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Some cool stuff here. Another good app. We went long on this one, too.
Yeah, we did. We
a lot to talk
long.
about, though. A lot of cool stuff. So, hopefully the Juice has enjoyed.
Yeah. This is all free, by the way.
Yeah.
Start sending us money. No, I'm kidding. That's gonna do it for the show, folks. You can find me on Blue Sky at Fresh Buds Pod. I have another podcast called Fresh and Buds. This week we have Summer on. It's winter though. We have Summer coming on the show. She's from a great YouTube channel called Smashing Good Team. So we'll be chatting about. There's been a bunch of spoilers coming out this week, so we'll be talking about them. You can find us on all socials at Fresh Juice Pod. Matthew, where can people find you?
Find me at Matty Gorm on the socials. I've been posting about indie games and such, so be on the lookout for that. Boom.
Another banger in the books. Juice it up.